Now, no matter how hard this system tries to push DEI down your throat and tells you that DEI is what you need to be focused on, the truth is DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, is failing men in corporate America. And this is something I've experienced working in many top investment banks. And I have the perspective of myself, which I'm going to share with you today. What's interesting here is that who you're going to hear from today, which is Minister Japp and myself. Minister Japp had a similar experience to me. He worked for many corporate companies, so have I. And his story, which he explained in other videos, is he had worked at a major company and he was fired by a white woman. And part of the reason they used to fire him because they didn't think he was playing along with the office politics of feminism and things like that. And he was actually reading a book on his lunch break, not at work, but on his lunch break in between work, while eating his lunch, which was a book from the Nation of Islam, which was based on gender roles. And this white woman thought the gender role book was offensive, even though he wasn't even talking to her about it. He was just eating his lunch and minding his business and reading this book. Now, this is a very important lesson for lots of people to learn from, or lots of men to learn from, of dealing with this bias, this anti-male bias in the workplace environment due to DEI, due to feminism and things like that. So if you're a sensitive Susie, you may not be able to handle the heat. If you're very sensitive and emotional, this is going to be a very real video. So hopefully you don't get too sensitive if you're watching this. So let's get started.
Basically, he was saying how much ass he got to kiss at work just to fit in. I'm saying, and in the moment that you don't kiss a protected group's ass, they feel offended. You have to let them get away with murder, all types of bullshit.
So this is a very short clip to start with, right? There are protected groups in the workplace. It's not men. It's definitely not Asian men or white men, right? You have certain protected groups, which would be the awfuls, AWFLs, affluent white female liberals. White women get special privilege. The rainbow flag community, they get special privilege. Feminist liberals, whatever's the latest news topic, sometimes it's migrants, certain religious groups, sometimes certain racial groups will get specific favorite treatment depending on what the mainstream media narrative is. That's how the hiring practices will vary. In 2020 there was hiring practices favoring a specific racial group. A lot of times it's just never-ending special benefits for women. So these are the type of dynamics you have to deal with.
But protected groups are never laughing. Now I found the post that I put up, and I found the brother's comment, so I'm gonna read it to you. I put up, finally it's about time they got canceled too. And this was the post with Netflix confirms Dave Chappelle's special will not be removed, and has suspended the hell out of 3 transgenders employees who spoke out against him.
So what's interesting in this short clip is he's talking about how Dave Chappelle, who deal with some kind of cancel culture for his jokes about transformer community, and Netflix effectively went and prioritized and favored him over those activist employees at the company. So it really shows you when it comes down to money, when it comes down to competence, even though men are treated like second-class citizens, we are who matters as a key demographic, right? And what's interesting here is on the whole whole rainbow flag community thing, right? There really is a two-tier society. Straight people have to pander to their rainbow flag community. Men have to pander to a woman, and you have to deal with the petty jealousy and things like that. People who eat meat have to pander to vegans. People who, everything's a two-tier society. Other examples I could give, I don't know if you can even say it on this platform. If you're a Republican, you're apparently bad, you have to pander to Democrat values. It's everything. You can pick medical procedures in recent years. You can pick ideologies of every kind. Everything is like a double standard, and there's always a two-tier society of who has to pander to who, right? And this is the thing when it comes to being a man in the office. You have to kind of keep all your views to yourself. You almost have to hide being a man in the office, right? Because it's very interesting in terms of what he's going to say next, and I'll give you some of my thoughts after that.
Now, let me read you what the brother said. This is one of my followers. He said, I work in an industry with a heavy RSPECT community. Just like the TV industry, if you don't show that you're totally all in with support of them, you are the enemy, and they will scrutinize you and assume you are against how they live. And if they can find a way to get you out of the job, they will. Backstabbing, sabotaging your good work. Letters put on managers' desks and snitching. Letters sent to corporate headquarters. All the while smiling in your face. Take heed and watch your back.
So here we go, right? That's a very important quote, what he's trying to explain here. In terms of, how you're treated as a man, you're treated like a second-class citizen. And the thing is, what happens when you cancel all the men? What are you left with in this society? Highly inefficient systems, border control completely lacking. Typically men, if you read the book Way of Men by Jack Donovan, men maintain the perimeter, which means they maintain the border control. But you demonize men, you remove men who, produce buildings, you maintain security, maintain the army, prevent chaos from occurring, maintain order in society. Now, is PC culture, politically correct culture, pandering to all these liberal woke ideologies, is it really worth it when you see the destruction in society, right? Men typically get the work done, but they're treated like second-class citizens, even though we build society up, right?
Masculinity builds. What has any of these protected groups built except a blog page, some t-shirts, some hashtags? What have they built of substance that we can actually use in the real fucking world?
So that's the truth. What have these protected groups built? If we list in the comment section, what have feminists actually built? Beyond claiming that they're underprivileged and they want special treatment, and then they get special treatment for management roles and things like that, can you point out like 5 things feminists have built that men haven't built, or they've kind of been riding the coattail on the back of men's hard work, right? And you can find this for any protected groups.
DEI hires get fired. Shut the fuck up. This DEI shit, I'm saying, is going to be not only a hindrance, but it's going to be dangerous. Hiring people for the sake of checking off boxes. This DEI shit is to appease the feelings of people. They're lowering the standards for things such as the military, such as fire safety, fire departments, police departments, even in corporate America, to appease the feelings of those who can't make the cut. DEI hires, man, could have got Trump executed. Somebody might die because of DEI. This country has prioritized having to hire women in positions that they can't handle, hiring people just because they black, hiring people just because they gay, hiring people just because they're foreigners, just because. The government incentivizes these companies to do these things. A lot of these companies have a DEI quota.
See, there's one thing that's unspoken of, even though I have flagged it at companies I worked at. There is a DEI quota, there is a specific target. Sometimes they announce it publicly. Then, because they announce it publicly, the truth is, legally, discriminating against men when it comes to hiring and promotions is illegal. It's against employment law. But they're allowed to do it somehow because of equality, which seems completely backwards. And there's a good little catchphrase he has there: DEI hires get fired, And this is the thing, if you hire people on the basis of DEI and they're not good at the job, then they're going to get fired. You lower competency standards, you lower the output and productivity, which impacts the quality of life everyone has, quality of food, quality of everything. We've seen in recent cases where specific flights, specific airlines want to hire specific racial or gender demographics to fly planes and maintain aircraft, and then there's complete disasters because they can't handle the stress, the pressure, the emotion. They need constant reassurance, particularly a lot of female employees, constant reassurance, constantly have to have men to help them deal with the pressure and the emotions and the stress of the work. I've worked at many companies where for one female manager, you'd have 5 men helping her do the work just to maintain this DEI quota, have these quotas for gender and race and things like that. See, it doesn't quite work, right? And that's why another reason why DEI has kind of failed men in corporate America.
Women go to that parade as straight women just to show their allegiance and support not the brothers. When you're at the workplace, the rainbow community, the women and our women are all on one team.
And that short little clip is very important because men don't form an alliance. Men tend to compete with each other. But all the other protected classes, the rainbow flag community, the white woman, the feminists, in his case, he's talking about black women too, they will unite and have the same beliefs because they want to overthrow men from positions of power in like a subconscious, passive-aggressive way. But for example, the white men, I don't know why, but so many white men are very pro-liberal values, even though he's the most negatively impacted by liberalism and feminism and removing him from power and destroying his kind of nations. A lot of white men in the corporate environment have these liberal beliefs and they support these things. And sometimes I'd speak out against it, even though I'm not white, and they will be like, oh, I'm the worst thing ever, or I'm this, or I'm that, right? I'm right wing or whatever. When it's like these agendas typically disadvantage you more than they do me, right? I'm disadvantaged one time maybe as a man, and you're disadvantaged twice as a man and a white person. So the fact that they can't sit or stand up for themselves or form decent alliances with black men or Asian men and white men getting on the same page, it really does say a lot, right? So that's my question to the white man. Honorable Minister Elijah Muhammad had a pamphlet, some kind of book for black people in America, and he called it The Message to the Black Man, right? And he was trying to give them helpful advice. Now, I'm not ethnically white, I'm ethnically Indian, right? Even though I've been in the UK my whole life in London. I feel like, do I need to make a video which could be funny called Message to the White Man and give you some advice as a white man to stop pandering to liberal beliefs that destroy your nations, turn your woman against you, and push for a ton of different ideology that makes your life worse? Because there's no point pandering to your woman who are pushing for agendas that are against your best interest. Which demographic, BLM, many black people can see the BLM thing was actually to help get the Democrat vote in 2020. And it wasn't really about helping black people at all. And a lot of those leaders got linked to laundering money, using money to buy multi-million-dollar mansions, things like that. And I think about who was really pushing for this, apart from some BLM activists. It was white women. White women were pushing this white fragility narrative, white privilege narrative. White women really, these liberal feminist types really pushed this aggressively. And it's like, where were white men to stand up to white women for this, right? In the workplace, are you standing up to them? It's really, I sense the frustration and the honesty from black men or Asian men or Muslim men, things like that. But sometimes white men aren't going to speak up, and it's kind of annoying, to be honest. But you should stand up for yourself. That's what, just have basic dignity. That's all I'm saying, right? Yeah, and if you think about corporate culture, a lot of it is biased in favor of women in terms of the cultural events, the pandering they get. It's not really biased in favor of men, right? There's lots of like team events that you just don't want to attend to as a man because it's just not an environment you want to be in.
And they are against you. And this all stems from the weakness of the white man empowering his women because he's scared. And when he empowered his women, he created a catastrophe. He created a monster that's now destroying him. Now they're looking to align with us, but at the end of the day, we go through more than what they go through because at the end of the day, they are still white and they get a little bit more grace. There'll be no grace coming your way, free thinking straight black man. DEI for you does not apply. When you complain, black man, nothing will change, black man. When the white woman complains, everything will change.
He said it so well, right? If you're a man of color and you're not part of the rainbow community, you're not going to get that special privilege. And that's very important lesson to learn. And everything is really pandered to the white woman. He has another phrase he uses in other videos where he's like, in the West, the white woman is God, as in the white woman is treated like God. And that's really the dynamic here, right? That's God, right? Now, I'm not here to give a religious sermon on what religion is best or not. I'm just saying the hierarchy in the West is about men and everything in culture and government and media and corporations pandering to women, primarily white women. And everyone else has to play along with that dynamic. And if you don't play your role, then you're misogynist, you're this, you're that. So it really is a very real dynamic to pay attention to.
So when you see a Joe Biden, you see weakness. You see a man who bends for the feelings of women. And right now, women are running the show. If any of you all worked in corporate, all diversity training comes from gay people. We've been in those trainings. Who's hosting the slideshow and doing the keynote address? The most ticklish motherfucker you ever seen. It'll either be a ticklish ass nigga or Ellen DeGeneres, or a fat short haired Roseanne. That's what you will get.
I remember going through a diversity training. I went through some kind of diversity soft skill training, and it was led by someone who was part of the rainbow community. And he said, when someone meets someone else, when two people meet, all they're thinking about is, can this other person help me make more money, or do I want to sleep with this person? And I thought that is such a weird way of looking at things, right? And I'm like, is this how people in the rainbow community look at things? Why is this being part of our formal training in a corporation, in a major investment bank, that when two people meet, there's only two things going through their mind? Can I use this other person to make more money, or do I want to sleep with them? That, I don't know why that's part of professional training, but that's the type of stuff you'd hear. You'd hear so many weird dynamics. Almost any type of social dynamic is normalized in the workplace, apart from men being men. And if you really look at the social dynamics, so who's controlling, the general workplace dynamics, as I say, it's not men. You can just look at what I've said so far and see who that would be. He mentioned that Ellen DeGeneres, that's an archetype of a white woman who has a lot of power in the workplace environment. Another one would be leading diversity trainings. It would be obese black women. I've seen quite a few obese black women who'd be leading the diversity trainings. And there's an archetype of their beliefs. It's typically the same kind of leftist talking points, right? And that's what I'm trying to make. It's not really necessarily what I'm saying is really about race or gender. It's about this ideology of woke ideology, woke culture, whatever you want to call it. Myself, I'm, as I say, from an Indian background. Here we have someone from a black background. He's in America, I'm in the UK, but we have quite similar experiences in the corporate environment. And why is that? Why do we notice the same patterns? Because we're both straight men of color who are in the workplace environment that is quite biased against us, and it's quite obvious.
And you don't want to put your life in the hands of a woman. Would you put your life in the hands of a woman? See, this is the thing. There are certain things that you don't need to be, that DEI shouldn't even be considered in, because it's too serious. When lives are at stake, we are not here to just check off check boxes. We need the best person for the job. Lives are at stake. But these people are, like Biden, are trying to make statements, trying to make symbolic victories. He ran on that. And that's what you're about to see with this Kamala shit. The whole country will be in danger for you to prove this point that women can do it too.
So that's an important point he's making so far, right? Trump and the Secret Service, it almost cost Trump his life, this DEI stuff, and it could cost your life if you're on a plane and they have DEI hires flying the plane, right? And maintaining the plane. Same thing you could see with police officers. There's many funny clips out there where female police officers are trying to arrest a male, and the strength and the pressure of the job, they don't have enough physical strength to restrain the man and handcuff him and arrest him. And as long as you have this victim culture that benefits women, then you're going to have men who are just disadvantaged in the workplace. There's a lack of accountability, a lack of responsibility. And you see the same thing with army recruits and all types of things, DEI in the army. I mean, if you have army and it's meant to be the best quality people to defend your country and you're focused on DEI there, you really have a done civilization. Your civilization's cooked. It's crashed out. Yeah, it's just done. You can see that there's many funny clips out there of army and DEI there. So let's let Minister Jap close this out for me.
And they are never held accountable for their fuck-ups. Because when scrutinized, they can always hang on the point of, I'm a woman, I feel discriminated against, I feel bullied, I'm black, I feel bullied, I'm a part of the rainbow, I feel bullied. They have that ability to lean on that to get them out of taking accountability. Shout out.
So now you as a man, what do you have to rely on to get free pass out of accountability? And I don't think any of us do really, right? So I've worked for over 10 years in the finance industry, Goldman's, Morgan Stanley, and so on, investment banking, sales and trading roles. I can give you genuine, real career advice of dealing with this complete hellscape environment that's been created in the corporate world. Link in description. I'll give you some very honest, real advice to help you optimize your career growth, your financial situation, and prioritize your freedom over participating in quite a rigged system. Leave me your comments below of your big DEI horror stories, and 2 links right now on your screen right now, free videos to watch, and I'll see you next time.